These are the books I plan on reading for August. For August, I was reading these books for Black Future Month. I started Rock My Soul, Black People and Self Esteem by Bell Hooks. I only got through the first chapter and like halfway through the second one. Although I have read a book by Bell Hooks before. What was it? The Will to Change, Men, Masculinity, and I always forget the third one. But I read that one and it felt like an easier read to me that time when I read it. And I resonated with so much of it, but I feel like this one, it is still very accessible, but there's still a density to the writing and to the words. I need to process what I'm reading, like have to read over a few paragraphs and sentences over and over again, but I'm getting a lot of great information and I'm getting a lot of interesting perspectives out of this book. And I am looking forward to reading more and finishing the second chapter and expanding on that, talking about it, thinking about it. Maybe I got a lot of information tied to this, just not just to this book, but just to self-esteem and to Black people and their self-esteem and how we experience the world and how we live in the world and how we navigate the world. I want to talk about this book. Next up, I completed Binti, the complete trilogy by Nnedi Okorafor. And it was good. It was fine. It was not bad. I didn't hate it. It was great to go to another world and to experience it. The writing style also made me feel like I wasn't close. I wasn't very close to Binti. I wasn't very immersed in the story. I wasn't fully immersed. There was like a lot of great visual things that I was seeing in the story. It's like three short stories, well, actually four short stories in this collected edition. But I don't know if it's just because it's short stories that it just had a different feel and a vibe to it. The vibe was just a little bit detached and a little bit long handle spoon. Give me 50 feet, give me some space. I'm gonna tell you the story, but I'm gonna tell you it from afar. I do still think it's a good book. I would like to see it adapted. I would like to see what the visuals of this story would look like brought to life. Next, I completed Do You Dream of Terra-Two by Temi Oh. I love this book. This was a great book. I had a great time reading this. It was a fab book. Like this, I was immersed. Compared to Binti, I was immersed in this book. I was really engaged with this book. It was a simulation of a book. I wouldn't say a simulation of a book, but it's a book that felt like it was a simulation. I was immersed in it. I was in it, deep in it. There was something about the writing in this book that just made it feel immersive. I was just invested in the characters. I didn't necessarily love all of the characters or had a favorite, but I did have a favorite in the end. But I did, for overall, I love the story. I love the book. It was a good time, and I would love to see this adapted for real as a limited series. Next up, I started The Space Between Worlds by Michaia Johnson. I am 33 pages in. I just started it. I wasn't able to finish it before the end of August. I'm getting into it. I'm not loving the fact that it's in first person. I'm not in the mood to read a specific voice of a character, or I'm not loving the voice of this character, but I'm loving the idea of the story. I'm loving the concept of the story of this multiverse, multi-universe thing. I'm getting into it. I'm loving that. I'm not necessarily loving how the character's telling me the story. I'm excited to see where this goes. After that, I will definitely be reading the Earthseed Duology. I definitely have to read this. I must read this because I can't put this off any longer. That's not okay. So I need to read this soon. And I'm debating whether I should read the Orisha trilogy right after this because I'm like, I've held off on reading Children of Blood and Bone for years. Since this book came out in 2018, I was, I'm gonna read it, but I wanted to read some other stuff first, get some other books out the way first, and save the best for last. I got the second book. I didn't even start reading the first book or the second, and I was just like, I'm gonna just wait on the third. Now that I've did all three, it's time to read them. We've waited long enough, and then the movie's about to come out, so I'm like, read it, but I'm also kind of like, there's some other books that I'm thinking about picking up. We'll see after I am done with the Earthseed trilogy. Well, not the Earthseed trilogy, the Earthseed duology. Not Gloria Steinem. We will see how I feel about reading this right after because I want to get it read before the movie comes out, which I don't think it's coming out that soon. Like, ow. I'm gonna continue reading The Space Between Worlds by Michaia Johnson. It is getting interesting. Let's see how it goes.